On this episode, we finish answering listener questions from the Main Street Magic community. Today is October 4th, 2024, and this is episode 708 of the Main Street Magic podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys! Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, in addition to live streams from the parks and our weekly live show, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Ready for your next bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI-Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
All right, so we are set up here at Fort Wilderness under our little canopy, and my truck's right behind me with our tent attached to the back.
It's not a tent. It's like a screened extension is what I would call it.
Okay.
And we did a live in the Main Street Magic community, and we'll post some pictures and stuff. So yeah, it's hard to get a reservation in here, so we thought this would be a fun little time to do the car camping thing again. And then Rhonda ordered this cool thing off Amazon that kind of makes it extended so you can keep the hatch open the whole time, and I'll have more room.
Yes.
That's the best part.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, but because we've been so busy, we're doing another one of these on the road with our little portable studio. But it kind of goes with the last one. If you didn't listen to that, it was the first part of us answering all these wonderful questions from the Main Street Magic community, right?
Yes.
So we're going to get right back into it, Rhonda, and we're going to start with John. And I'll be honest, I don't think I typed these up and printed it like a week ago, so I don't remember anything that's on here. So it'll really be a surprise to both of us. So anyway, John said, I think it's been mentioned, but the Muppets seem like an underutilized IP for Disney World. Why do you think that is, and what would be your idea for a ride land use of Muppets at Disney World? Why is it underutilized, Rhonda? Why do you think so? Because you're not a huge Muppets fan.
I think because there is either a following or there's not. And I think because the generation is kind of moving on from that.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason it's still there is because it is the last thing you said that Jim Henson worked on.
Worked on there, yeah.
So,
no, I agree with you completely. I've always said that, and not quite as nicely put as I think you did, like with the generational change. I was just saying, I don't think kids nowadays, I don't want to say are smart enough, but there's a certain humor that I consider kind of that smart humor that I feel like the Muppets uses that, younger or older generations, I should say, just got it. And I just don't think they do today. Like,
right.
But that's fitting what you're saying, is that it's just that generational change.
Yes.
It's just, that is much more of an old school thing. It is still alive in many ways. Hopefully somebody turns off the horn, but it's still alive. That's why it's fun to record outside. It's still alive because the generation that grew up with it is still around and still supporting it.
yes, I believe so.
If Disney did decide to use it more, I would love to see all of Muppets Courtyard truly turned into Muppets Courtyard more so.
Right.
We've got 2 restaurants in there with Pizza Rizzo's and Mama Melrose. I've said it would be cool if you took more of the theming and the Rizzo idea over to Mama Melrose, and did something there that's themed around actual having Muppets in there, animatronics, whatever it may be. It could almost have part of a show element to it, or something like that. Other than that, you'd have to go over and do some sort of, I'd say, like beaker style dark ride, which would kind of fit into Imagination Pavilion at Epcot and Figment.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get it. I
That's
think
true.
if you used beaker and kept it a scientific route,
Yeah.
you know, you could some sort of stage show with Animal
Oh my God.
would be super cool.
Yeah, it would be super cool.
So I think there's a ton they could do with it. I just think Disney's afraid to because the money's not there. It's not going to be there.
I unfortunately completely agree.
Yeah.
And they're only gonna
They've tried to
do-
reboot it now several times, and it just hasn't taken.
And
One
they're
of my favorite movies ever is The Muppets that Jason Segel wrote and starred in
Yeah.
with Walter. I mean,
Yeah,
I love that
That
movie.
one was cute. Like
Yeah.
I was fine with that one.
But I will say, I get that humor, but it's also a humor that I can see and understand why other people don't think it's funny.
Right.
Like some things to me should just be factual funny.
Yeah.
Like you go, that's funny and everybody should laugh at it. But other things I can see where it's a certain kind of niche of comedy or whatever it may be. So,
Yeah.
All right, Stephanie asks, are you pro or con visiting every park on your first Disney visit? Think of a family with school-age kids. I tell everyone I know when they go for the first time to not pack their trip to do everything so they don't get Disneyed out and want to go back. So visiting every part, your first trip, family, visiting Disney for the first time, do you recommend they do what it takes to visit all 4 parks? Or can they skip something and say, you know what, let's see if we're going to save it for next time? What do you think? And if so, which park are you skipping?
I think that's where, to me, it depends on when you're coming back. Are you
Yes.
able to come back sooner rather than later?
Yeah.
Because
Especially with
That's
how
a-
much is going to change between, you know,
Correct.
Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom
Correct.
specifically over the next decade.
right. So I would say you could make sure you see enough of Magic Kingdom and we'll say Epcot, and because they're monorail, and then save Hollywood and Animal for another trip, and that's what I would do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would agree you could do it that way. If the trip is a little longer, I could see, and this is the direction I thought you were heading in, is adding a park hopper, doing a
Yes.
full Magic Kingdom day. Well, depending, you could potentially do still a full Epcot day if you're utilizing what's at the festivals during
Correct.
your time, if that's when you're going.
correct.
And then on that third day with the hopper, you're able to split Hollywood and Animal.
Yeah.
You know, so you could technically still visit all 4, but if you just flat out aren't, you got 3 days, just say you're going to do 3 parks, I'd probably leave out Animal.
Well, and
And
I
save
was
it.
also thinking, if unfortunately though, they want to do Magic Kingdom for a couple of days, because that whole
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom day, you're not going to get it done.
No, you're not.
So,
But that's something then that you can also look at in your plans to say, all right, we're not going to hit maybe all 4 parks. We're going to save a park. And we know that we can't do all of Magic Kingdom. So let's not exhaust ourselves trying. Let's
Right.
make a plan to do half of Magic Kingdom and then do the other half as if it were another park for our next trip.
Right.
And then you focus on those. And then you say, all right, well, this one we're going to skip Epcot.
yep.
You know, because you were able to accomplish all of that, or you've got, you know, Star Wars fans in your family or Toy Story, and so you want to make sure you hit Hollywood, whatever it may be. But so hopefully that was a range of all kinds of
Yeah.
answers to that one.
I hope so.
Mallory asked, favorite thing to do outside of a Disney park, but still inside the bubble. So outside of the 4 parks, inside the, I mean, for me, would be eat. Still, I mean, at all the wonderful resort restaurants. You know, we do love and have lately. We just haven't in a while because it's been so hot still, being summer and all. Putt-putt, doing mini
Yeah.
golf.
Yeah.
We've loved that.
That's fun.
So, what are some of your favorite things that are outside of the parks, but we're still in the Disney bubble?
Yeah, I guess going to the resorts, of course, Springs.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's huge because you can do everything from
gosh,
eat
yeah.
dinner to watch a movie to
See a
go
show.
bowling,
Yeah.
see a show.
Watch Irish jig dancers.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
jig dancers.
it's an Irish jig, right? No, the river dancing. What's the difference between river dancing in an Irish jig? The
I don't
the proximity to water
I
flowing?
don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I
go-
would like
you're
to know an
gonna-
answer. I'm
you're
going to
gonna
look it up
Google that?
afterwards. Yeah. If anybody's wondering, I never remember at the end of the episodes, and I mostly never look this stuff up that I say I'm going to. If you've gotten to spend any amount of time with me, you would know that's kind of how my mind works. But I could pinpoint the smallest detail of a trip we took 6 years ago on a Thursday. But stuff like that, not really going to remember. So.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to Anthony. Said, if you could add one country to Epcot, I love this, what would it be? What type of ride and restaurant would be there? All right. They got pads. They got
Country?
space. You can add a new country or place. You know, I mean, depending on how I guess we look at it. Like me, I would go Greece. Now, my ride, I have no
Greece?
idea. Yeah, I would go with Greece because I'm thinking of the food and like Mediterranean and Greek food.
Greek food. But don't
But-
they have that?
No, you're thinking of the festivals. You're talking about putting in a whole new country, an entire new pavilion. I'm sorry, a whole new
Right.
pavilion on a country. That's what we're talking about. So you're talking about putting in shopping, dining,
Hawaii?
a restaurant, a country. That is a state of these fine United States of America.
A country.
Yeah, like
oh.
Australia or something like that, or
Okay,
I mean,
Australia.
you could do Germany, places like that.
But Germany is there.
Oh God, yeah, sure is. I was giving examples of things that were already there. If anybody was wondering,
I think Australia.
Australia,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
you just want it for the men,
lamb
for
chop.
for the
And the
yeah.
accent.
Yeah, and the accent.
The
Yeah.
lamb chop and the accent.
What kind of ride? What are you putting in there for an Australian ride? Now,
I think
know
of
there's some-
Sydney, and I think of like.
you
What?
could do Nemo, but you already got Nemo in the seas.
Yeah, but I guess I think of like Sydney, the Opera House, and like I don't know what kind of ride I would do.
Yeah, I don't know for that because that's what I think for something like that, it'd be easier to get the ride first, and
Yeah.
then base around.
Yeah,
what it
that's
is,
true.
You know, if
But they
you-
could just do that right over finding the seas,
yeah,
and then they could add Australia right over top of that, and then put that's the ride, and then have some food back there.
Oh,
and
you're talking about just replacing the seas? You wouldn't
stuff.
even have it
No,
in
put
World
it over
Showcase?
top of it or whatever. Like
I know, but that we're talking about in World Showcase
Oh, 'cause it's
Pavilion
not in
still.
World Show,
Yeah,
that's
that
right.
is not. So
I
that
don't
probably
know.
would not work. Yeah, I like that one though. If you go back to a theme park shuffle episode that I used to do and hope to do again at some point with my friends Logan and David, where we like redesign and rides and refurb
Right.
and all this cool stuff. And Logan did one which was bringing the world of Encanto and the Madrigal House, which would be that Colombian,
Yeah.
the whole pavilion of that. Now he was going, because we were trying to redo pavilion, so he put his in with Morocco,
Yeah.
and fit everything perfectly. But
Yeah.
if that were to be a new add-on, of course we're getting it over at Animal Kingdom, but Disney doesn't really have a problem, doubling up on IPs in separate parks.
That's true.
So I don't think they'd really care. If it was going to make money, they're going to do it. All right. Let's see. Arlena asked, if you had to pick on a Disney resort in any category to live and eat at for the rest of your life, which would you choose and in what room category? Now, she thinks she knows what we're going to pick, and she would probably be pretty correct.
Coronado.
Yeah, and honestly, because of the options, the dining
But
options.
I would the only
but
problem
I'd have
is
to be in Grand Destino, and I'd want to be in Grand Destino in that suite that we stayed at for Christmas,
but
the one bedroom.
there's no cooking. Like I'm thinking something like
Yeah,
like a Saratoga
yeah.
because
Well, no, well, actually though, she's saying to live and eat at. So it's not saying.
okay, then Coronado.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
basically as though that was going to be. You're not going to have to worry about cooking your own food, right?
Yeah, but I'd want to. Like
Okay. Then where would you
I
pick
guess
that would
then
get
I'd start.
something?
Well, and then I'd start
Then
making
what
stuff
DVC
up.
resort with just say a one bedroom, set up with a full kitchen would you want to live and eat at? So when you do get sick of the resort food, you could cook in your
Well, I just started
room
saying
if
then
you
I'd have to
wanted,
make
but
stuff up, but I'd probably say Coronado because then
you'd still say Coronado.
Yeah, because that has
But
the
they don't have any
most-
kitchens.
But they have the most, I understand that, but they have the most amount of food.
Right.
And different kinds of food.
Right. That's what I said when I first answered with that
I
answer.
know, but I'm thinking
It's
like...
just coming around to.
Well, no, because I'm thinking, if I had to do it for the rest of my life,
Yeah.
I would probably want to cook. But then, if I go to cook, like,
I
and
see
I
where
go
you're
to
going with it.
Saratoga,
Yeah.
then I don't have many options.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I think Coronado is a wise choice with everything going on there. And they do, I mean...
Is that what
even-
she said, that she knew we'd pick that?
I'm guessing that's what she was thinking.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I really do. I mean, if you did have a kitchen in those suites, first of all, that would be the next thing you would see DVC trying to sell.
Oh,
Would be
100%.
rooms at Grand Destino.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, if you had that in there, those rooms are top notch. I mean, that layout of that suite is just incredible up there with the full king bed. You know, it's got a living room. It does have like a wet bar area, 2 bathroom, well, 1.5 bath. Like, that thing's amazing. So I would say that. And I mean, Mexican is one of my favorite cuisines.
Yeah.
So for me, that's an easy choice. You know, I could eat tacos breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. I'm
For the
pretty
rest
sure
of
for
your
the rest
life,
of my
that's
life.
a long time, too.
You really couldn't eat everything for the rest of your life unless you're an animal, because we feed them the same thing. Do you ever think they're like, I mean, that's why they like our food so much, because they just don't get it. But has anybody ever done a study on that? There's got to be. Like, how do we know? Animals, every time we feed them, they're just thankful to get food. But they really could be thinking, are you serious with this again?
Yeah, I would.
Right? So, but I mean, in as much as I do love tacos, if I had to eat them for every meal, at some point, I'm done with tacos. I never want to see one for the rest of my life. I guess animals are just programmed different. They're just not, they're not aware enough, self-aware enough to
I don't know.
just stand up for themselves.
Maybe their little brain doesn't
Why
work
can't,
that
they should
way.
have Taco Tuesday. It's
Did
not
you eat
fair.
tacos Tuesday?
We did. Yeah, we sure did.
It's National Taco Day.
But then I looked that up and it said it was tomorrow.
Not on a Tuesday?
Yeah, and so Kayla and I had a whole conversation. I said,
Oh.
it's probably like how Thanksgiving, you know, is always on a Thursday, that they could have said, all right, the first Tuesday of every October or something, or whatever that may be, is Taco
National
Tuesday. Like, instead of giving it a specific date, like it's always October 6th or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if the National Taco Board is listening, it would clear up a lot of things for people, right? Otherwise, it's like the Lego movie. It's Taco Tuesday on a Monday. Amy asked, the fairy godmother is going to bibbity-boppity-boo you into a Disney sidekick. Who would you want to be BFFs with and why? I would be Maximus.
I'd be Pascal.
Oh, so we could still be together. That's sweet. Look at that. That worked out really well for us, didn't it? Is that what you were going to originally say?
Yeah.
No, you weren't. You were really going to say that before I blurted out my
Yes,
answer.
I
of Maximus.
was.
That's amazing.
Because I was thinking Maximus, and I was like, no, I don't want Flynn Rider. I want Tangled. Who's that? Pascal.
Wow. Oh, that was sweet. All right. Thanks
Did you
for
say
asking
why,
that, Amy.
though?
Huh? Why? Yeah.
Because it's Flynn Rider's
Yeah. I mean,
sidekick?
Flynn Rider would be a blast to hang out with all the time. I would think, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I like that. All right. Kendall said, what would a day in Disney look like for you if you didn't have to make a podcast episode? I'm definitely going to let you answer this one first. What would a day look like?
I don't
to you?
know anymore.
No?
Because we do it
Would you
so
just
much.
do your favorite thing? Like just focus on your specific favorite things? So you
Well,
wouldn't have
I
to
think it
focus
would
on, like,
kind of do...
Oh, Pecos Bill got new.
Right. I think it would kind of do like I did this past Sunday when I was there by myself. I went to Hollywood Studios, walked around. I was going to ride Toy Story Mania, but I didn't. But I went and sat, and I went to Brown Derby Lounge and had the Cobb salad, and I did not want anything new. I wasn't working. I just wanted to eat my Cobb salad because it's the best Cobb salad on property. And I did.
Yeah.
So I guess something like
That
that.
kind
Where,
of was yours, but you did your favorite things.
but then I went over to Epcot because Star-Lord was there, and that's when I started working.
Yeah, that is true.
I didn't want to go.
And then later
but
you
I
went
was like,
to
I need to.
Joffrey's
Yep.
and got the measuring spoon
Yep.
for, you okay?
There's a
Bug
bug
in your
fly in
face.
my face.
Yeah, but then you went down. You got the measuring spoon. They're having a pass holder specific only
Yep.
day. I never ended up seeing if they lasted past that day. I'm
I
guessing
know.
they did, or they'll like spring it again this Sunday. You know what I mean? Be like, oh hey, we decided to get some more. It was so okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think I would just do my favorite things.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But I would have Disney have to not put anything new out because then I couldn't do it.
True, and
that's never happening.
And I would not have a phone.
Oh, for
Or
you.
no, well, let's say this. I would have, somebody would invent, or they would, like, Disney would invent a way that in MDE that could lock the rest of your phone up, right? So all that works on your phone is My Disney Experience, because you would need that. But everything else, I can't take photos. I can't do text. I can't go to social media. Nobody can get in touch with me.
Oh, we have children.
And they'll be fine. We got neighbors. They would just, right, walk around, do whatever the heck we want, and not have to do anything else, right?
Okay.
Okay, I like that answer a lot.
All right.
Okay, we're moving on to the next one. Molly asked, your top 5 resorts and why?
Oh, God.
For me, it's easier to count from number 1 up.
Like,
You know what I mean? Like, it'd be hard for me to start at 5 because then I'm going to get down to 2 and 3 or 2 and 1 and be like, wait, I got like 8 more I want to talk about. You know what I mean? I would say right now, do you know what my favorite resort on property is?
Polly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be my number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 would still be Wilderness Lodge.
Okay.
For me, number 3, and I can go back and talk about them for a sec. Number 3 would probably be Coronado.
Yep.
I would put here at Fort Wilderness at number 4.
Okay.
And then honestly, I would put Pop Century at number 5. As far, just because what's available, there's certainly better resorts, obviously.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
mean,
I
it's
would almost
well, it's real hard for me
100%.
not to put yacht in there. I love yacht club or
Yeah.
beach club. I personally prefer yacht for some reason, but I just think having something like a Pop Century in there, it just, there's still that nostalgia. And I'll start and go backwards. I've said it before, the All-Stars, the Pop Century.
Right. I
There's
do love it.
something
I was
so
thinking,
nostalgic
yeah.
and Disney about them.
Yeah.
Right? Here at Fort Wilderness, we've probably stayed more than any other resort, even more than Coronado.
Yeah.
And we have stayed every way, and now we're still finding new ways to stay on this trip, you know, by adding this little tent extension thing and having the way this canopy set up and doing all this. What did I have at my number 3? Was that Coronado?
Yeah.
For a lot of the reasons earlier,
Yeah.
you know.
And just the whole place and everything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the rooms, from
nature,
from the tower
you know?
to
Yeah.
from the
mean,
tower to the last place.
That view from the tower looking down on Three Bridges.
Yeah.
I mean, in Villa del Lago and all, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, for my number 2, Wilderness Lodge, it's Wilderness Lodge.
It's
You can
Wilderness
walk,
Lodge.
even when it's not Christmas, you walk in that lobby and it's Christmas time.
It's
And it's
beautiful.
just, it's so cozy and warm and homey. It's just, it's amazing. And then Polly, you know, we've been lucky to spend a lot of time at Polly this year, technically. You know,
Yeah.
we stayed there 2 nights. I feel like we visited several times. I mean, you know, we did Ohana now twice this year. We just were there. You know, we didn't stay the night there last weekend, but we spent.
We almost. I
you
felt
know,
like we were so close
like
to
half
it.
a Thursday and half of a Friday
Yeah.
there, so it felt like we did.
Yep.
And all we did was, you know, we just didn't lay our heads down.
Yeah.
At Polly, and man, this vibe. Oh my God! It's like redo lobby episodes. Top lobbies, Polly number 1 for me now.
Really.
Top smells, Polly. Like everything about that resort, I love more than anything. I can't wait for the tower to open to see how it melds in together.
Yeah.
And I you know, I think it's going to be amazing. But
Of course. It's Disney.
it's incredible. Where would you change for your list?
I think I'd almost agree.
Pretty much
The
the
same,
same.
yeah.
I mean, are you really going to put Pop Century in there?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I was thinking the All-Stars, but the only thing I was thinking no to the All-Stars is because of the buses, and I feel like they need a specific bus lane
Yeah.
and a car lane for returning.
Yeah, it's very time consuming for
'Cause that's-
a resort that's far away from everything but Animal
Right,
Kingdom,
right.
for sure.
So I was thinking, what's the next best? Almost same as the All-Stars, which is Pop Century or Art of Animation. So
Art's
I
a really
could
good
switch
one. Yeah.
art, but I think of like, because then, you have the Little Mermaid rooms, but there's so little of the Little Mermaid rooms that
It just still,
I never
it doesn't,
think.
It's still, for whatever the reason is, it doesn't get the same feels for me as Pop and the All-Stars. Just the feel you get walking through it.
Really?
I don't know why.
Okay.
And maybe because, I mean, if you want to talk about a resort we've spent the least time at, Art of Animation. Now, we've stayed in, well, we haven't stayed in the Finding
That's
Nemo
true.
room, right? We stayed in Lion King and Cars.
Lion
and we
King
stayed in
and
Little
Cars.
Mermaid. Right, so we stayed in those three.
Correct.
But it's probably really a resort we spent the least amount of time at, along with maybe an old Key West and a Saratoga.
Right.
You know, we're going to be at Saratoga here in a week, so for a night. So, yeah. And then, all right, let's move on to the next one. Kara asks, if you were stranded on a deserted island and only had 3 Disney snacks to eat,
Oh my gosh.
what would they be and why? All right, say on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wait, no.
Ice cream sandwich.
Okay, yes.
Oh, that's what I thought you were going to say.
I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
I was,
What else
yes,
did you have?
ice cream sandwich.
What would be your other
But I
two?
was like, wait. Do we just get these restrained? We get these 3 things and that's it? Or do we have
Oh, gosh.
you open this treasure chest?
This is
it
pretty
just-
hypothetical. I'm not saying it won't happen, but or couldn't happen, but the chances that it does, probably not up there.
Okay.
So
Did you
we
just
will just
open?
go strictly hypothetical. We're not going to worry about like where you sleep or you pee or you poop or anything. We're not going to worry about did you get sunscreen? Where is the island? Is anybody else on it? Well, no, it's deserted. She did say that stranded on a deserted island.
Yeah.
We're again, we're not worrying about structures or like can you get a fitness workout in properly or what are you gonna eat? Because you really don't like fish, and you're allergic to shellfish. It's a really small island, and deserted just means devout of humans or animals as well. But you're gonna have to learn to like wild boar, and then how do you cook it? You don't have a lighter, So and you didn't bring a magnifying glass. And I've tried rubbing 2 sticks together with that little rope thing. It doesn't really work unless you're like the Hulk and you can just get those things, or the Flash, I guess I should say, right? What was the question? Oh, the 3 Disney snacks that you
ice
would want
cream.
in this very hypothetical situation. We're gonna go with ice cream sandwich, ding ding ding, number 1, and then what else would you go with?
Popcorn.
Okay.
I think no,
Depending on
because
your
it gets
third,
stuck in
I'll-
my teeth.
To see, I don't know what
pretzel.
the floss situation is. Can you just use a piece of grass? I feel like that's going to cut your gums. And I saw an infomercial that said your gums are the most important part.
I'm gonna do a pretzel,
A pretzel. I will agree 100% on pretzel
and then a churro because I want something sweet.
because an ice cream sandwich isn't sweet enough for you.
I forgot.
Oh my god.
I forgot we had.
Yeah, you already had an
A
ice cream
turkey leg.
sandwich. No, you wouldn't.
I'm going backwards.
You would never get a turkey leg. You would.
That's considered a snack, right?
It is,
I'm
and there's no way you want that on a deserted island. Those things we hate those things. They're so gross. I will go pretzel, ice cream sandwich, and
Oh god.
man, I don't know what the third one would be. I could just pull what you usually do and say the ahi tuna nachos from Yak and
Oh no, but we could get the buffalo bites.
Yeti. Ooh, yeah,
That's
from Bar
consi-
Riva?
No, from
What are you talking about?
Trilo the.
Oh, the buffalo chicken chips.
Yep,
Oh,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
That's a
Oh,
snack,
let's
right?
do that one. Let's replace popcorn with that one. So pretzel. We're on our own island because it's deserted. So you're on one island, I'm on the other. We can pick whatever we want,
Okay.
and we wouldn't know what each other got.
Okay.
Do you think we would still find each other one day?
I don't know.
I would fashion a raft. I'd be dead within 24 hours if I was deserted. If I was stranded on a deserted
I don't know
island.
what I would be.
Something would eat me. Or
Something would bite me.
It would. I mean, I guarantee they're not completely deserted or devout from, what?
Yep.
Danger noodles. All right, Chuck asked, Fraser, your last day on Earth, way to get morbid, Chuck. What are the rides attractions that you must do one last time? Pick 5. You good? Pick 5.
There's a horsefly. What am I picking fly on?
Shoot fly, don't bother me.
Yeah.
5 attractions. This is your last day on Earth.
Oh.
Chuck has
Dang.
cursed you with some sort of
Dang,
12
Chuck.
hours you got left to live. They drop you off at Disney World. What are the top 5 attractions you have to do that last time
Haunted Mansion.
before Chuck pulls the plug? All right, Haunted Mansion.
Um,
I will agree. So that's one for me and one for
Toy
you.
Story Mania.
Okay, I'm not going to take that one, but I'll give you that one. So you keep going.
Tron.
Ron. Oh, man. No. I don't think so.
And Cosmic, if I can pick the song.
Yep, I got you on that one. I'll take that one. So you got one more. I still got 3 to go. Last one.
I know, I'm
This is
thinking.
it.
The last.
I'm going to take Flight of Passage.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to take Tower of Terror
Oh, yeah, no.
and Rise of Resistance.
Okay, don't let that.
What would you...
That's a yellow
any of
flag.
those, did you like your 5th one?
No.
Why
So-
are there flies? Normally they're not here.
I don't know, and that's a yellow fly, so if it lands on you and bites you,
how could
it's
you
gonna
tell?
hurt. Because it was
was
yellow.
yellow?
Silly.
Did you pick your 5th one?
No, I'm
Okay.
trying to think because none of those. I'm trying to think.
You didn't want any of those?
No,
Oh. Makes me feel bad.
because we won't be together on our last.
What about
12 hours
what
on
about,
this earth.
Small World?
No.
How about
No,
Frozen
hang
Ever
on.
After? Or Soarin'?
No.
Maybe? And Fly?
Um.
I mean, you want one last flight?
With Patrick Warburton?
Yeah,
No, because I
Warburton.
wouldn't have ridden that by myself.
Okay.
Oh, maybe Dinosaur.
Oh, okay.
I like Dinosaur.
We're going to
a
get your
lot.
last chance on that anyway. We rode that today.
Yeah.
Anytime we can now, we're going to. It was an absolute walk
Or Tiana's.
And I'm not kidding about, oh, that's a good one.
I'll take Tiana's.
Okay. All right. You can have that one. So here, hey, oh no, that wouldn't work. I was going to say, you come with me on my last day and I'll go with you on yours, but I'd already be gone. But both of our last days are the same, right? So then we technically get 5 rides each, but we're going to go with each other so we get 10. So that's pretty smart. All right, Jenny asked, you're going to be stuck on one Disney cruise for a month. All onboard amenities are in
gosh.
place, but you cannot disembark at any point.
Oh, I'd be fine
What
with
ship
that.
do you pick and why? So the only 2 we've been on is the Wish and the Magic.
I would say the Wish.
I was going to say, based on the class size,
Correct.
I would pick the Wish,
Yes.
only because of the size
Yes.
and how much more there is to do.
Correct. And because you're going to be stuck on it a month.
Yes, yeah. So as far as between those 2 ships, the one that I liked better was the Magic.
I agree.
And the more I think about it, the more I just loved it. We're looking at possibly trying to do the Fantasy in April. And so that's in the same class as the Magic. And then, of course, once the Treasure, we're hoping to maybe do that in 2026.
Yeah.
So we'll have a little bit more idea of all the ships. But, yeah, between those, it's got to be the Wish for me. And I did love the Wish. I loved the smallness and the, like, whatever, closeness of the Magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All right.
I agree.
Jeremy asks, and congratulations, Jeremy. He's getting married this weekend.
Aw,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Congratulations. What is your favorite memory that y'all have made at the parks this year so far? What's your favorite memory so far from this year specifically? And we're about to go for a walk. This fly is really interested in something over here.
I know. And it's, again,
Are they going to get really mad if I try and smush him? Does he have family watching? Then I'd feel bad. But so what's your favorite memory from this year? It's probably not this moment.
me and you in May on the cruise.
What about at the parks? As Jeremy had asked. I couldn't remember what he said. I couldn't remember if he said favorite Disney memory or whatever. I would agree with the Magic Cruise would be my favorite memory.
Because
Maybe
that was,
overall, that was
we
amazing.
were sober and it was
Yeah.
just phenomenal, literally.
Yeah.
It was so great.
It was awesome. But what about at the parks? We've had a lot of good ones these past
We have
7 months now. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something specific that's just
know, me
really
too.
stood out. Because everything's been great. I mean, I always loved the Main Street 16
Yeah.
weekends. And you remember we stayed in the tree house, and then
That was fun.
you know I'm
I
gonna,
think
I'm
that-
gonna go
I'm
with
gonna go with that
I'm gonna go with the
one.
Main Street 16. Everybody that we got to see, you know, obviously raising money for Give Kids the World.
We probably need to put the fan out
Then Yeah, we got to stay at the tree house, and we got to watch everybody, compete and participate. And then we got to move over to Poly for 2 nights and kind of unwind with Chuck and Amy. And that trip was definitely top tier. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, final one from our good friend Olivia. If you could be a Disney villain, what kind would you be? And then who would be the hero? Or who would you be as a hero? So who would you be if you were a villain?
If I was a villain?
Yeah.
Maleficent.
Maleficent? That's what I
Heck yeah.
figured.
I can be a dragon and
Yeah.
fly.
I'd go with Hades.
Oh,
love
yeah, that's a
Hades.
good one. Yeah.
He's great. That
Yeah.
was my Hades voice. This is what I would sound like
Is
if I
that
was Hades.
really?
Yeah. Who would you be if you could be a hero?
If I could be a hero, I think I'd be Elsa.
Elsa?
And I'd let it go.
Jesus.
No, because it'd be cold.
Yeah. But the cold never bothered you anyway.
And that's just fun to do.
Yeah. Okay.
But because I'm just trying to think of the power. What power would I have?
Oh no. I'd probably go with Hercules. Because then I could hang out with Hades.
But would you hang
I
out
do
with
like. I
ladies?
do actually do like Hercules. You know what? I'm gonna go with
Huh.
Tiana. I get to cook. I get to have a restaurant.
Yeah.
She's a hero.
Yeah. That's
Naveen's
true.
not bad looking.
You're going to hang out with Naveen?
Well, I have to. I'm married to him now. I'm Princess Tiana.
Oh.
That's how I became a princess, was him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we are going to wrap this one up with our last question there because we are about to get eaten alive by yellow flies, and they
I think-
are supposed to hurt like an what if you get stung by them.
I think it's a bite, actually. It's not
a bite?
Yeah, they bite you.
Oh, they don't have stingers like a bee.
Right.
How does that hurt? They gotta have the tiniest teeth ever.
I don't know, man. Maybe they have venom in their teeth, but
Oh.
I think if we
not
get
good.
the fan and stick it out here.
Yeah, that's what we should have done. Like looking back, that's what we would have done. Hindsight is 20/20. Mm-hmm. Mine's not quite as good. I do see better driving at night wearing my contacts now. So that was a good older person thing to accomplish. Everything, lights weren't 70 feet long shooting into the air like meteors. That's what it used to look like when I drove at night. Second thought, I probably shouldn't have been driving. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap
my
it up.
gosh.
Get on with our evening because I got to now, go ahead and edit this, which obviously it needed some, and then schedule it to post so you guys can get it on time. And also now squirrels are joining the party. So if you've not done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You get these brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. The rest will be from our studio. For the foreseeable future right now, but maybe a couple more on the road. And of course, Rhonda and I would be very thankful if you would please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.